Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Let me just make sure I got the make sure here. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yep.
Good. All right. So I'm gonna just give everybody a few seconds to load in since it's just 2 o'clock. But this is the biggest week of this is the biggest week of the year right now that we rolling into. So everybody just it's gonna be a week that's gonna require a lot of focus, man. And it's gonna be a really big week. So we're gonna talk about some of it right now, but just letting y'all know it's gonna be a really big week, and there's a lot of expectations this week. And you know me, I don't like to really talk about profits as far as what we gonna get because you can't. There's no guarantees in the market, but this is gonna be a big week. So we're just gonna go ahead and get started. All right. So by watching or reading this, you're saying you understand the following. I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not trading advice. This session is solely for educational purposes. There's significant financial risk associated with options trading, and I'm not liable for your wins or losses in the market if you decide to act on this information. All right. So look, this is how we ended last Friday as far as options flow. So options flow, the top options flow on Friday went into NVIDIA, MIDD, Tesla, ACAM, and Netflix. On the flip side, for the put side, they were shorting MSTR, American Express, GE, Apple, Crowd, BST. For the week, the top call options flow went into NVIDIA, MSTR, AMD, Amazon, and Meta. On the flip, they were shorting Baba, American Express, Boeing Airline, Airbnb, and Oracle. Cool. So let's go ahead and let's hop back into things. All right. So, 1 second. So, really quickly, what I wanted to do is I wanted to just open things up a little bit, just to kind of recap last week. I mean, it was a big week last week, and it was a lot to cover, obviously. But um, how did y'all do last week? How do y'all feel about last week? I mean, anybody who had an experience last week, how did y'all do last week?
Man, last week was crazy, bro. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's my first week getting back into options trading, and I'm very thankful and that I followed your guidance for sure, man. I've been so hard-headed this entire time trying to do this stuff on my own, and I just constantly lost. But just taking your call outs and sticking to, everything that you put in front of us, I've had a pretty profitable week.
Thanks, I appreciate that. That comment just made my day. So I appreciate that, Peter. And I'm glad to have you back in the frame of things, in a good frame of things. So that's good. It's great. Anybody else got anything they want to say? I mean, any thoughts? Last week. All right, so I'm just gonna open it up and say, look, so yeah, like Peter just said, man, just following the process, man, and sticking to things is the best way to go. So look, it's a lot of ways you can make money in the market, obviously, right? But like I said, we gotta try and true process that actually works. And if you stick to it, you can make money. You can make a lot of money. So, like I said, just we just starting this year. We haven't finished the month of January yet. So, I still got up last year's profits. This was every month of last year. This is how much we generated every single month. If you grab just one contract per trade alert, we cleared last year. We cleared over 60 bands off of grabbing one contract last year. If you just grab one contract. So just stay in the course. These are net profits, so include the losses as well. So just try to stay the course and stick to things because again, it's easy to jump past it's a lot of new members that just joined, and I just want y'all to know that it's Sunday, right? The market is closed. This is a good time to go through that how-to guide. It's a good time to watch that onboarding video. Even if you're an existing member, you've been here for a while, and you feel like you got things going, but you can't seem to just like every month at the end of each month we cleared several $1,000s. We cleared, there was not it was only 1 month last year where we cleared less than $4,000, and that was in September. I took off a week, and with some things going on, but yeah, outside of that, we cleared. It was pretty big. We averaged over $5,000 a month last year. So, and we on course to do the same thing for this year. So just stick to the process and just follow those instructions, man. Go through them. Like I said, even the existing members, if some of y'all just jump right to multiplication and just you're repeating what you hear people saying, but when it's time to problem solve, you can't problem solve because you never learned to add and subtract. So you got to start from the bottom, follow the guide, and just you can make money with us. What's up, KK?
No, I was just gonna add, like, I've been hi to everybody. Good afternoon. I've been trading with our group for a long time. And I always, I want to be a good trader. So I want to mimic what our teacher is doing. And so whenever I'm thinking about trading or trying to get into trades, I'm like, what is Antoine talking about? What is he trying to achieve? Even when he's when he's like, okay, here's this play. I'm like, okay, why are we getting into the play? I'm running through these things through my mind. What is there some sort of catalyst going on? Where is he talking about buying? I'm looking at the chart immediately because I feel like that's a lot of people, especially when you just want to get the trade, but to really become a better trader, what is the teacher looking at that's making him get into this trade? As far as I know, we trade off of support and resistance. So these are the things that I'm looking for. I want to identify these things on the chart. And then I'm thinking about what type of strike. Okay, he got this strike. Why did he pick this strike? Where is this strike adjacent to being in the money from wherever he's calling the strike out? What made him pick it? How, you know what I'm saying? Like you got to run through, and a lot of these things that I'm saying is really the trading checklist. But I just wanted to say it so you can think about it in a way of how this process is really happening so that you can be a better trader, because you can jump in and out of trades all day. He's going to call trades and you can make money. But if you want to be able to consistently make money and be able to make money outside of what he's calling, then you got to start focusing on the process that he's using, because it really does work. I've made a lot of money in this group because of that.
She said that. That's what she's saying. So look, yeah. And so like a lot of people want to say like, and just to kind of add up, to piggyback off of what she just said, a lot of people they want to do their own thing, and they say, well, why do I got to follow him? Why do I got to do this? Or if he doing this, I can do it. Absolutely. That's why I want you to follow the process so you can learn the fundamentals, so you can do your own thing. Like now, I was in Los Angeles at Warner Brothers Studios, and KK called my phone, and I walked out of the out of a meeting, and she like, look, Meta is at that key level again, and I just wanted to let you I wanted to ask you like if we should be what should I get in this play right here? I said not only should you get in that play, I want you to put the whole team in it. I told her, I said she said, well, I'm gonna go through the strikes and I'm gonna hit you back. I said, no, don't hit me back, just post them in the chat. I trust you because I already know she went through my process. She already know. And then now she does her own thing. She don't take every single trade that I call out. She got her own process now. She only takes certain trades that fit her risk management. She only take trades that fit her work life balance. You know what I'm saying? She's a very busy person, and so she take trades that fits in her lifestyle. But and so what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to have a whole bunch of those people. Is like I always say, if I'm not paying attention, we all crash and burn. I'm trying to build other leaders and stuff like that, because it's like and another thing I'll tell you, one day I was talking to KK, and she pointed something out on the chart to me, and I was like, oh shit, she took that, she finally took that blue pill. So now I can expand and start talking about other things with her now. And so it's a lot of things we don't talk about as a team in the group. I'm so far beyond just basic trading and stuff like that I want to take the whole team on that journey with me so we can do even more things, but I got to make sure the team can do the can just follow a process first and stick to it and learn that part first before we can move on. But so when I say follow this process, it's not because I want y'all to stay under me and do what I want y'all to do or nothing like that. It's because I want y'all to learn first. Like I'm a coach first and foremost. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get y'all from where you are to where you need to be. And then from there, you can be your own person and be your own thing. So it's like you have to learn, you have to learn the basics first you could before you can do anything. That's just the fundamentals. There's a fundamental um, structure to everything, So once you learn that part, then you can move on and do everything else. So just keep that in mind when we're doing this whole trading thing, and it's not that I'm trying to stop you from doing anything. Because like I said, once I see leadership in you, once I see that you know how to do certain things, I'm gonna call on you. I'm gonna big you up and I'm gonna empower you to do more things. So, and then I want to hear what you have to say, but I want to make sure you have to learn the basics first, So, and like she said, you can take my trades all day, but look, let's say I'll give you another example. On Friday, there was a meta trade. I was teaching someone how to read charts and stuff like that, and Meta was pushing 650. It was pushing 655, and I said, look, I already know Meta's about to come down. We can probably get a. I had a nice structure on the chart and everything. I drew out the whole situation on the chart, and where Meta was going to go, how it was going to come down, what could happen, and so we bought puts at the top, and I said, well, if Meta was to go up a little further, it could possibly go to 255. I said, but if it does get up there, I'm going to add to this position. So that I was telling them this while our puts were down like 30% at this time. So it was like no nervousness, no nothing. I was like, I always plan for where the stock could go and where my risk. So that way you got to plan for the risk, so if something happens, which you just plan for it. So you're aware and you're not flustered or caught off guard if something goes wrong. So it never went to 255. It came back down. We got the structure broke and it came back down to where I thought it was going to come down to. And I said, well, now the session hourly is about to close. If it takes out this level right here, if it takes out, and I'm just saying this off the top of my head, I'm like, if it takes out 647.69, if it hits 647.69, oh, we going back down to 644. And so he got out the play at 50% profit. And, so he turned this $200 and, into $300. And I held that play until, it got down to like $800, right? Because it went to my full target. It hit both targets and it just broke down. But it was just about staying the course. And I only say this because, you know, I was showing them, it was a real live just example of, and we weren't even really planning on taking the trade. It was just more so just showing them just the market structure and how price action works. But he got out of the trade with a nice profit but he got to see the whole thing play out. But and I said this for a reason, because a lot of times I'll alert a trade in the chat and I'll paint the whole picture and you'll get out of the play early. You know what I'm saying? Or just take the 50% profit. And there's nothing wrong with having a structure and saying, you know what, I'm taking profit at 50%. But it's like if we set up a whole chart and have a whole structure, and I'm telling you, this is the plan. If it's a bullish flag, let me switch over to my chart for a second. I can't talk about charts and not show charts. But I'm like, if I'm telling you, like, we got this bullish flag breakout here happening on this time frame, and if it does this is what a bullish flag is supposed to do. This is how the chart is supposed to move, and this is what we did for Meta on Thursday, going into Lotto Friday. I told everybody, I posted this chart right here. I said we got a bullish flag breakout on a daily with the candle confirmation, and it was with increasing volume, and we already know how this goes. And now Drew spoke out. Drew was like, the last time you wrote one of these, you posted one of these, it was for Tesla, and it ran like a bat out of hell the next day. So Meta did the same thing. But the whole point is like if we got setups, some people just they'll know what a setup is and they'll know what a bullish flag is, but you don't know why it's a bullish flag, why we call it a bull flag, and what a bullish flag is supposed to do. Bullish flags do what bullish flags does, right? And so what they do is if you look at this chart right here, for example, this is the previous flagpole, and this is the flag. When it breaks out, the flagpole, the previous flagpole, the existing flagpole, it's no most of the time we should get at least the distance of the previous one on the next one, but that's not always the case because right now we're in uncharted territory. We at all-time highs, so we're in price discovery. So but that's the thing. It's easier when you already been to that price level before. And so, but you look here, this was another all-time highs for Meta situation. We broke out of this bullish flag right here, and it ran all the way up here. But you see, sometimes you get some consolidation before continuation and stuff like that. And most of the time, we find these setups on a daily chart, but then we go on a lower time frame to find our setups because we're trading intraday, right? And you see Meta bull flagging again on the session hourly right now as we speak, and it's been bull flag after bull flag. But I'm saying this to say, no matter what the setup is, though, no matter what the setup is, we frame everything off support and resistance around here. So when you can actually see the picture, when you can actually see like, oh, I see why he called this play out, then it'll make you go harder on the play because now you can see, the options trading Bible says, don't drive further than you can see. If you can't, if you can't see, of course you're not going to be comfortable. If you can't really see, you trust in what someone else says. And but a lot of times if you understand the charts and how it works, where a retest is going to take place. You're not monitoring a 5-minute chart when we're in a swing trade where we know or if I have, let's say, I'll give you a good example here. We'll go back to the daily chart on Meta, and we're gonna go through some real live examples because this is one of the charts. Obviously, that's the big like the talk of the week right now. Meta got earnings on Wednesday. We got FOMC on Wednesday. We got it's just a lot happening at the same time on Wednesday, and I'm gonna tell y'all some crazy stuff, man. For like I'm gonna tell y'all. So we're gonna break this down. We're gonna break this down some, and there's a lot happening at the same time. We got how I'm gonna put this? How I'm gonna put this? Because I'm gonna get into it, but we're gonna get into it. It's a lot happening at the same time. The market's at all-time highs. We got earnings season kicking off, or big tech earnings kicking off. Now, typically for the last 4 years, and typically Tesla has its own week. Tesla has its own week. Tesla's a big dog. It has its own week. Netflix has its own week. You know what I mean? That Netflix kicks off earnings season, big tech earnings season. It has its own week. Then Tesla gets its own week. And then we go into, the rest of big tech. And then, yeah, and sometimes Apple gets its own week. Depends on the circumstances. This time, Tesla and Meta are reporting not only the same week, but they're reporting the same day. This hasn't happened since 2021. And the last time that happened, all hell broke loose. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm gonna tell y'all, so I'm always thinking about the why because I'm a trader, but at the same time, I like to put things together and break things down. Why and how in the hell would they put Meta and Tesla on the same day? The same week, but let alone the same day. Why would they do that? So, you got to think about it. Like, why would they do that? Tesla normally has its own week. I mean, if Tesla misses earnings and it has its own week, right? If Tesla misses earnings and it has its own week, it typically brings the whole market down with it. If Netflix would have missed earnings, it would have brought the whole market down. But Netflix beat earnings and it took the whole market with it, put the whole market on its back, and everything ran. So now we got Tesla, but they took Tesla off of its own week and they got it reporting the same day as Meta. So I mean, I'm bullish on Meta. I'm bullish on Meta. And I'm bullish on it, and I'm not really I don't know what's going to happen with the print. I mean, everything is running right now, so who knows? It's a lot that can happen. But so when you think about it, but I'm just wondering why would they put Tesla the same day as Meta? And I mean, is Meta going to hold Tesla? I mean, is they going to, do they plan on bringing the whole market down? Now, I can't say that I can't put, because KK did this research, by the way. I'm gonna tell y'all. So I told her about the whole situation with Meta and Tesla and everything, and I told her, I said, you know, the last time this happened was in 2021, January of 2021, and so she went and did the research and looked at it. And and I said, well, what was the catalyst that happened that day? Because all of the stocks came down that day. And then they all came, the whole market came down the next day too, after that. So KK did the research. It was the GameStop stuff. You know, when GameStop was running, you know, the hedge funds were getting killed, and it was a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, they were
Uncertainty in the market.
yeah, a lot of uncertainty in the market. So they were shorting GameStop and stuff like that. So a lot of the hedge funds, they were getting killed, they were getting crushed. So they had to liquidate a lot of shares and stuff like that from big tech, and to cover those shorts. And there was a lot going on. But yeah, and then typically throughout that year, whenever the memes ran, the market came down. So, you know, so I'm just gonna put that there. So I can't say that 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 all of those stocks had the continuations because of the fact that they it was a thing. But yeah, but all of those, it was Apple, Meta, and Tesla reported the same day, right? KK, it was all three of them, right? The same day.
Yep, they all reported that data 27.
Yeah, so it was just like, and they all came down. But yeah, so sometimes when that happens, this is what I say, that one of them gonna beat, one of them gonna miss, and to prevent the whole market from coming down, you know, one's gonna neutralize the other, and that could be the case. I don't know, but we're gonna see. Because I'm gonna tell you another thing that they did. Typically, we have to watch out for Meta. Like we would have to watch out for Meta because of Google, but they did something real left field this time, because Google normally reports before Meta on that Tuesday with Microsoft, right? But Google is not reporting at all this week. They pushed it until next week. So, you know, there's nothing there that can get in the way of that situation. So it's just like I got to do some more research on that. But they moved Google. They just put Google out the way. They moved it to next week. And so it's a lot going on this week. It's a whole lot of earnings, but we got FOMC. So we got Tesla, FOMC, and Microsoft and Meta, sorry, Meta, Tesla, Microsoft, and FOMC all the same day. So we got a whole lot of stuff happening on Wednesday, but we got PCE data on Friday. We got GDP on Thursday. So we got a busy week. We got a busy week. So you know, so this matters for a reason. This matters for a reason because no matter what we're doing, whether you're trading earnings, whether you're playing earnings, no matter what you're doing, if you're in regular trades, these stocks are going to dictate how the market moves. 30% of the S&P 500 is reporting this week. So I feel like the market's at all-time highs. Is the market going to push higher? But you know, they send the Fed out there for one or two reasons: to take the market up or bring the market down. And I feel like this is the most important Fed decision that we've probably, I ain't gonna say that we ever had, but this could be the most important one of 2025. Obviously, so this year, obviously, we just the first one of the year. But I'm saying that it's very important because Trump is back in office. Trump and Powell, they don't get along. Trump feel like Powell should have never started cutting rates during an election season, and that he started making moves too quickly. And so now with inflation, you know, with things happening the way it's happening now, is does that mean that Powell's gonna is he gonna pause? Is he gonna pause? Is he gonna start raising rates again? Like what is he gonna do on Wednesday? What is he gonna do? We already know what the dot plot said as far as what they were planning, and they were saying they didn't even see that many rate cuts in 2025, right? So does that mean they're gonna pause? Does that mean they're gonna do another rate cut at this time, or are they going to skip? You know what I mean? Like I'm thinking maybe is it going to be a hawkish pause, or are they going to what is he planning to do? All I know is no matter what he decides to do, Trump gonna start tweeting afterwards, and the market's gonna move. So we just gotta keep. Oh, I don't know. This is not like what we just went through for the last 4 years. We got a vocal president in the office, and he moves the market when he will go directly at companies and directly at the Fed, and the market will move. So this is a very important Fed decision that we have, and that press conference is going to be even more important because now Trump is in office, and they're going to ask him some questions directly. Like they're going to ask him a lot of questions during that press conference, and is this just going to be a little different situation that we're in right now, and yeah. So we got a lot to deal with. So you can't just be in plays now. You got to really be watching the news. You got to really. So when KK's posting those articles in the morning, she's posting articles directly associated with the plays that we're in, what's going on in the. She posts one about the state of the market. That's the first one. The second one it may be about if we in certain trades or we've been talking about certain things. She's gonna post something about that. And so they're always related to what we're doing, the trades that we're in, or in the current state of the market. So, and she posts them early in the morning. So take a look at those things. If you don't have time to look and see what's going on in the market and what's important, she's up early in the morning reading these articles before she posts them, and she's posting them in the chat so you can take a look at them and see what's going on, and kind of get a head start at what's going on in the market if you care to do that. But you want to know, if you're going to the beach and you plan your birthday at the beach, you want to know what the weather is going to be, and you're going to keep checking, right? So if you're having a barbecue at the beach, you're going to check to make sure it's not going to rain that day. So you want to check the state of the market, and you want to be watching the time frames, these charts, and in conjunction with the life cycle of your trade. So if you know that you're in a trade so like I was saying before, so all right, here's an example here. So I guess I'm gonna use another chart because we got a trade idea anyway for QQQ. So the reason I alerted QQQ at the end of the day on Friday was because we were on Zoom, the team and I, we were on Zoom for and heading into the close, and you see QQQ, although it was a red day, look what it did. It finished right here. It bounced right off of support, and it finished here. I thought we were gonna have like a bearish engulfing at first. Nope, it came right back up. That's why it's important to pay attention to how things close, and that's why I waited until when I alerted it, because if QQQ had closed down here with the bearish engulfing, we would have got a structure. It would have broken support. It would have closed under support with a bearish engulfing, and then so that would have been, that would not have been a good thing. So we got here we got a 223 on QQQ, and a 223, and it held support. So I'm bullish on that. So let's talk about this for a second. All right. So bullish on this. So what do we do now? What's up with this? So in a perfect world, they bounce off of this and we get a move back up, right? So but it's where was I going with this? Oh yeah, cool. So let's just call this, like, for people that aren't in the trade, because QQQ can bounce. It can bounce and we can make some money off of that on Monday, right? But that doesn't mean that it won't that you can't get a price move on both sides. And what I mean by that is that doesn't mean that I can't give you a new trade idea right now on QQQ, and that's what I'm about to do. Let's just talk about it for a second. So, all right. For a put trade on QQQ, if we were to lose 528.15, so I'm gonna say we lose 528, then my target would be this bullish gap fill down here, right? The bullish gap fill down here at the 520, the 524.80. So if we lose, like I said, if we lose that 528.15, then my target would be 524.80, right? But let's say you don't know how to read charts. A lot of times what happens is, let's say, okay, if QQQ breaks down here, breaks this structure and comes down here, by the time it get halfway through here, you probably up like a good 50%, maybe, it depends on the situation on the contract. Some people are like, well, I took profit because it was at 50%. But if you were looking at the daily chart, you know what I mean? You zoom out and look at the chart, that the reason why you got into the trade, because people will say, oh, QQQ took out the trigger for puts. But what does that mean? You know what I'm saying? So it means a few things, but on a daily, let's just say if you, because sometimes you got to zoom out and see what's going on. If my target is down here and you say, well, I took profit at 50% because they saw seeing price move around a little bit, but it's halfway through the target, halfway through here and headed to the target, you know, my sniper traders, they're going to stay in here and they're going to stay the course unless the trade breaks down and there's a reason for them to get out. So just taking profit at 50% just because you take profit at 50%, but not looking at the chart and seeing what story the chart is telling and where the price is actually headed. And if it's even anywhere in conjunction to the price target, that makes you leave a whole lot of money on the table. That's what I'm saying. But what I do typically is on a trade like this is when we see the trigger for puts break down, now I want, but it obviously is going to happen during the trading day. And unless I'm swinging and looking at trades to swing, I'm gonna glance at the daily chart. Of course, I'm gonna look at the daily chart, but I'm gonna break it down. I want to do some surgery on that daily candle, and we're gonna go down to the session hourly. I'm looking for a setup, an immediate setup, to see if I see something that I can play. Because I'm an intraday, we intraday trading, right? So we want to go find something to actually trade. So that's what we're gonna break down, and we're gonna look at that day at the session hourly. And if you see me looking at a 5 minute chart, I got it in conjunction with a session hourly or something like that. And most of the time, I'm using that time frame when I'm looking for some quick money, and it's typically early in the morning or late in the before the close. But I'm most of my main time frame that I'm using for intraday trading is going to be this session hourly because the lower the time frame, the higher the emotion. And if you're using that 5 minute chart and you're not using it in conjunction with now, if you're using a 5 minute chart, then you're looking for some quick profits. Remember, a 5 minute chart can only give you 5 minutes worth of price action, and it's going to give you a faster signal, but faster is not always accurate. Like I can give you a fast signal, but you know how many times, how quickly those setups on a 5 minute break down because it's only 5 minutes worth of price action and it changes so quickly. But when you got a session hourly chart, it takes an hour for that candle to solidify. So it's an hour worth of data, hour worth of price action. That's in that candle. So you got more that you can work with. Now, again, you can use both and you can do what you want to do. But what I'm saying is just that a lot of times people get shaken out of the trades because they're using those 5 minutes. Like I'll hear somebody, well, I'll be on Zoom with my team sometimes, and somebody will be like, damn, why Meta just break down like that? Or why Tesla just break down like that? I'm like, man, if you don't get off that 5 minute time frame, because I'm like, I don't see what you're seeing right now. And we got in off support on the session hourly. So why am I using a 5 minute now? That's just going to stress you out. If you got in that play because you waited on a session hourly set up to close or to set up, like look at this beautiful support right here, the way Meta did how play this out here. You got this. We played this. This is what I played on Friday. This pullback right here. This was a nice pullback right here that I played when as soon as I got the 222 reversal, but I had a setup on a 5 minute. I was watching a 5 minute for sure on Meta on Friday, but it was in conjunction with the session hourly, and it did everything it needed to do. But the whole point, look at this beautiful retest of support right here that Meta did. Some people would have just decided to, after they saw that. Now this move completed, that 222 reversal completed there, came back, retested support, and we got another candle confirmation here, and then did the same thing here. But so you got to be able to see what's going on. But if you're using a 5 minute chart and you got in and I called out a play off of a session hourly chart, you're using a 5 minute, a lot of times you're gonna get shaken out of that trade early, and you're gonna miss the big move. So just be leery of that, and just and ask more questions though. But like I said, just that's the first thing you should do. Like KK said, just go back and look at those charts and see like if you can identify anything about why I could have called that trade out. And obviously different trades, different setups, different things. But most of the time, I'm either buying, if I'm calling out a trade, it's either because I seen a bullish flag or a bearish flag breakdown, or I'm most of the time in support and resistance. Just know that if you see most of my trades, I'm taking calculated risk at support, calculated risk at resistance. You know what I'm saying? Never at no, we don't trade at no man's land. We're not buying in the middle because that retest gonna hurt you on the way down. You know, if you get a retest, it's gonna hurt you. And stocks, what they do, they retest before they go higher a lot of times. So if you're in a situation where you bought at no man's land, so if I call out a trade and sometimes in the morning, especially those meta trades early in the morning, man, the price moves quickly. If you miss if it's, if let's say you get a move and it jumps to like 30% and like in the first few minutes or whatever, and you seeing the updates in the chat, you can ask at that point, like, is it too late to I'm gonna follow up with a chart, like, nah, this is my target right here, so it's not too late, but you can wait for a retest here, because if you look at the structure on, and that's when I'll be using a 5 minute when in conjunction with a session hourly or something. And you can kind of like sometimes it's good to wait for that retest, because otherwise, if you're buying at no man's land, it's going to come back down and retest, and you're going to be negative, and it's going to hurt you. And we're not, our drawdown is not that bad, because we got in at support if it's for calls, and resistance for puts. But yeah, so just keep that in mind. But I'm gonna move on to let me finish this chart setup, and then because we starting with QQQ, because QQQ is very important this week. And you see we got a a wedge breakout right here on QQQ, and a continuation. And like I said, we held support. So, and for calls for QQQ, so if QQQ was to clear 533.79, looking for a move to 535.72, and then 539. So we got two targets on there for QQQ. Apple, 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 Apple. Now I'm gonna tell y'all some things right here about Apple. This is just my thoughts. So just I don't know nothing. I don't know anything. It's just my thoughts here. But so Apple is retesting its 200 EMA right here. Again, let me just move some of this stuff out the way. There's a lot going on this chart. Looks like it's starting a bear flag to me. Like let me zoom out, because sometimes I want to just get a cleaner chart. Oh, that looks a lot better. That looks a lot better on this. It doesn't look as bad as I thought it did first. Yeah. You feel me? Y'all feel me? Yeah, feel me? But on a lower time frame, like the daily, I couldn't really see that. I'm like, it is at the 200 EMA. It's bounced off it a few times now. I don't know, but I'm just looking at this like here, the weekly chart, and it's right down here again. So are we gonna get a nice bounce off of Apple here? Is it oversold? Did they tell that story to a little too much now, and they brought it back down? Is it gonna bounce off of this structure? I don't know. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna just see what happens here. And right now we got it just doesn't look good for Apple right now, but I don't know if would you consider Apple oversold at this point? Let's see. Hold on. Yeah, so yeah, I'm just looking at this chart. Just trying to bring some of myself. But yeah, so we at the 200 EMA. This is typically where people come in and buy, where the long term people who list buying for the long term will come in and buy. This chart is dangerous. It's a dangerous chart for me for Apple. They got earnings this week, and it's just a lot been going on with Apple, and the stock started selling off because of some news about weakness in China, and client sales, demand for the iPhone, and all of that. But these are the same stories that come out all the time, and then people still go back and buy these phones and stuff like that. So I don't know. But yeah, so I'm looking at it right now. We got a 222 reversal here on the daily. And I would say puts under 221.41 for a move back down here to 219.38. And I'm sorry, actually, I'm gonna say puts under 221. because that's the 200 EMA right there. So let's just say puts under 221 because it typically bounces right there. So if we make the trigger for puts 241 and it just bounce off, that's no excuse me, there is no real there's no that's it's not worth the risk. I will wait to see if it loses the 200 EMA. Because if it loses the 200 EMA, then we get a move down to 219.38 and then the 200 moving average at 218. I'm sorry, yeah, 218.10. So those would be my targets right now for Apple. To the upside on Apple, if we were to lose, if we were to break above 225.63, looking for a move to 224.96 and 220 226.87 and 228.35. So just keep Apple on watch. Again, it's look like it's bear flagging right now, and they got earnings this week. So yeah, something to watch. Tesla, Tesla, Tesla. Tesla, Tesla, Tesla. Let me zoom out first. Okay, okay. Yeah, Tesla making that move, man. Tesla's making that move. I wonder if we gap down on Tesla next week. Um, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. The market's kind of, we'll see how the Asian futures open tonight, but for the US equities as a whole, because but we got some bearness, so we got some real a lot of bear flow on a few stocks that we can probably get continuations on, and it looked like Tesla could make a nice continuation here to the downside. So yeah, this could be a good setup on Tesla. You know, say some I just feel like Tesla's been running for a while, but then we got some shortness. But how do you bet against Elon and he got a seat at the White House? You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of hard to do that. But also, Trump hasn't really been very supportive of the whole EV trade. So, the EV stuff. So I'm not really sure about that either. But yeah, so we just gotta. It's a lot that we can that that we don't know about this right now. Remember, they missed earnings last quarter and it ran like a bat out of hell because it was the margins, though. It was the margins. The margins were great. And so that's why that's how the stock ran last quarter. But yeah, so for Tesla, under 50, under 405.78, looking for a move to 402.65. And then I'm looking for a move all the way down to 390 and so on. This can be a really big move, and then we could possibly retest the 50 EMA down there at 383. So yeah, that's for the short side of Tesla, man. Now on the flip side, man, if Tesla was to clear 418, 419. So we get over 419. I'm looking for a move to 426.81 and possibly even higher. And that's be my first target. That'd be a pretty good target on Tesla right there. But obviously I'll post with some levels on the charts. Just going over this in real time. Tesla doesn't look like a bad chart. Just saying that it's not a bad chart, but a cool off on a stock like this is not bad either. The stock's been running for a while and it's just coming down. You see the little reject off of here, and now we just it's right now they're bringing it down. They're just bringing it down now. Nvidia, another one that they're shorting right now. But you see what the options flow showed, though. The options flow showed that it was that was the top call options flow on Friday and for the week as a whole. But that doesn't mean that they were buying anything for the short term that would benefit us. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, a lot of people just pay attention to the flow, but they don't really unpack it enough and don't know what's really going on. So if they buying, let's say somebody like I told you on Friday, if there was someone who sell covered calls for a living. Like if you own 100 shares of a stock, you can sell covered calls on any strike you want to sell covered calls on, right? And and you don't think the stock is going up. So you selling covered calls. Let's say you selling 150 calls, right, for NVIDIA. And that's you selling covered calls on that strike. And you think the stock is going down and it's probably just not going to go up that far. So you go and you start buying a lot of Nvidia calls, and I'm not saying that people that people do this, but I know they do this. They'll go and they'll buy covered calls. I mean, go buy a lot of shares or buy options that don't expire for a year, don't expire for 6 months, don't expire for a month or so. So they got time, they got leverage on there, and they're selling covered calls for the 150 Nvidia for this upcoming week. So, that expired this week. So let's say NVIDIA is short, in the short term is bearish, but they're selling. So the top call options flow for the whole week goes to NVIDIA. So people just look at that surface level stuff and say, well, I'm buying NVIDIA calls for next week. And they don't unpack and see, well, damn, well, all of the flow that they bought, all of the bullish flow that we see going in there was for June. So, they got time. They can sit back and chill. And those calls, they probably not even gonna get hit that hard. And the theta is low as hell on those, where it's high on yours, and you just far out the money. You $10, almost $10 out of the money. Theta high as hell on there. Your delta is low because it's so far out of the money. And and yeah, and the IV is not going to be that high either because of the fact that they're not really expecting that move. But I mean, that all depends. That depends. But the whole point is, you see that flow coming in there, and you just assume that just because you see the flow that it's going to be bullish. But every chart tells a story too. So that's where the chart comes into play. I was telling a member on Friday, I said, well, I would learn support and resistance and focus on the charts first, because instead of trying to just analyze the flow, because the flow is cool and all, but what is the story the chart is telling? So, I can see NVIDIA calls. I can see why someone would buy calls. You see where I just put that line? You know what I mean? And that's where NVIDIA bounced up there. That's where it stopped right there. So it could, and we see a 213 bearish engulfing right here on the daily. And yeah, it could continue to go down. It could fill this gap here and make some moves down, but it could also stop right here. Let's zoom out and look at the weekly first. Okay. Looks all right on the week too. Looks okay on the week too. We got a 222 reversal here. And it actually already played out though. That definitely already played out. Definitely played out. Got all the way up there. So, just want to make sure I say that too. But back to the daily. It could stop here. It could definitely stop right here because there's a support level right there, and that's important. So, like I said, I just wanted to kind of give y'all some more color on what could possibly be happening either way. But yeah, it was one of the stocks that sold off a lot. We got a lot of selling, but they started buying a lot. They started buying it up. And you saw it at the beginning of this call and went through the flow. So let's just look at a trade for this possibly. So just traditionally over 140, over 149, I'm looking for a move to 153. That would be my target for NVIDIA, and that's up there at the all-time high. That's where it would be. Now, if we were to lose, let me just hit my levels first here. We got a few places that we can actually hit here. There is a gap fill right there. What level is that? And it's already filling the gap right now, right? So that's what it's doing. But yeah, 4080. So yeah, so we were to lose that 141.88, looking for a move down there to 140.80 to fill that gap. And then there's another gap down here too. Just close down. So the next place would go. So just like marking gaps, man. Like marking gaps. So it's supposed to be my clean chart where I wouldn't look for levels on this one. I'll clear these later. But yeah, so we got a few places where price can go, but look at this though. Just look at this though. I'm on a video, man. You zoom out a little bit. I think this looks clean, and it look like this is a flag, obviously. And you know, flags don't just when the flag when you're creating a flag or whatever on a chart, there's a lot of consolidation. You know, there's a range, but that gives us a nice tradable range on the stock, right? If it hits when it hits the top of of the channel, it gives us a nice tradable range on here. So let's see. Oh, it's cleaner on the weekly. It's cleaner on the weekly, but you can see just that's just a volatile stock in nature, regardless. But just wanted to kind of see, you know, show y'all this whatever this is here. Like it's trying to it's a range somewhere. You get what I'm saying? Like it's just trading in this range on the weekly, but that's a big range though. It's not like it's a small range. So I mean it has some upside, but it can also we trade what we get on the daily. So that's why we see here, yeah, this is a bearish engulfing and we stop here. But how strong is this level here, this area here? I mean, I've had it stop here before and then price still gap down. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I always like to go and see what happened previously and stuff too on this. So yeah, it's all what we think could possibly happen here, but we just have to wait and see what actually happens, and we play whatever move. So, like I said, we got bearish engulf in here on the daily, and but whatever happens, happens at this point. We have to wait for a move to take place, and then once we find a move, so let's say, okay, let's say Nvidia decides to break down here, and we get it takes out the trigger for puts. So then, like I said, we're gonna go on a day on a session hourly. We're gonna look for a setup. Now I see a bear flagging right here. You know what I mean? That's we got the bear flag starting to form here. So, and again, this is the wrong chart that I have up because none of these levels none of these moving averages belong on this chart. I'm gonna switch my screen because I know I don't have them on here. So they're not supposed to be on the lower time frame. So I only use them on a higher time frame, and we only use the 90 EMA for intraday trading and VWAP. See, there we go. But you look here, so it's bear flagging, so we probably get a retest of not the 9 EMA and then a continuation to the downside. It looked like it's been riding. Look at how it's been riding the 9 EMA here. Come back, I retested it and then coming down. So I mean, we can get a reversal, but we're gonna just trade what we see. But like I said, you want to find a setup on a lower time frame after you get that trigger for puts, because remember, we're intraday trading. So yeah, we got the setup. We looking out. We got our triggers on those higher time frames, but we're looking for a setup on the lower time frames because that's what we're intraday trading, and we want to see what's happening right now. Now think about it like this. The reason I say that is because if you on a daily, for example, if price breaks down on a daily, it's about how the candle finishes on a daily, right? So I'll give you an example. It's about how price finishes. So give you some good example. What's a good example? Like this one here. Look at this candle here. It's because dojis trip me out, man. If dojis trip me out, or I'll use one like this here. So this is a good example here. So this candle right here, what this means is, and it's not off topic, this is on topic for sure. All right, so this candle right here, this is what it means. This is the life cycle. This is why I love candlesticks, because they tell you everything you need to know about what happened. So this candle opened, it opened at 135.01, and it closed at 135.34. But the high of this was 137.22 and the low was 131.80, right? So bears drag price all the way down here and bulls brought it all the way back up here, and it finished like within a few cents of where it closed, like 30 cents of where it opened, right? It finished 30 cents of where it opened. So it was like basically all of this price action, all of this volatility that happened within this day, and it finished right here. So what I'm saying is, if you're just going off the daily alone, you know what I mean, the daily chart alone, you can't really see what actually happened inside of this candle. It's not really showing you what's going on. And it finished bullish. You want to see if the trigger for puts was taken out or whatever. Now you want to go do some surgery on this daily candle and see exactly what's happening right now, because then you can see some real setups in real time. Because now that's where it's coming into play, like whether you can see the story the chart is telling, if it's a bullish flag, it's a bear flag. And now we're waiting for a setup, because just because it took out the trigger for puts, that doesn't mean there's a setup for me to trade, a tradable setup. I need a tradable setup. And if I see a bearish flag, I know how a bearish flag is going, how it's set up to play. When price breaks down out of the wedge, then we get a price continuation to the downside, and then we have our targets. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's not just, oh, wow, this is my trigger and this is my target. And that's how you get, shaken out of a lot of stuff. But you just want to find that setup and see where price can actually go once it happens. So we got all of this. The daily chart can look like this. Doesn't matter. If the trigger breaks down, then we go find a setup on a lower time frame. Now, sometimes we use it in conjunction with the daily to see, if, like where price is going, because sometimes it can get a little uh, all over the place. Like you look at this, it's all over the place sometimes. But yeah, so we'll do this in real time on Zoom when we actually have some setups. But I just wanted to say this because NVIDIA, this chart just looks crazy. It does look crazy. And did I go and do the research to see, did I unpack the flow on NVIDIA? No, I did not, because that's not even one of the trades, not one of my top trades for this week. But it does look bearish, though. It does look bearish, and that the volume shows a lot of bear flow going in there. They could be cycling money out of NVIDIA and cycling money out of Tesla and putting it in Meta and Microsoft. To know. You can see, I mean, Apple was down too. So, and those are the three of the biggest stocks on the planet. So the two biggest stocks on the planet are Apple and NVIDIA. So they both are down right now. So we'll see what happens. See what happens. So Microsoft looks okay. Microsoft looks okay. We haven't really traded Microsoft in a while, but they got earnings this week. It's a catalyst for it. The weekly looks great. Weekly looks great here. And I think it finished okay. A cool finish for Microsoft, but we'll just have to see what actually happens as far as the print for the stock.
Yeah, after earnings.
What happened? After earnings, right?
Yeah, after earnings.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh yeah, so just a cautionary tale, right? Most of the time Microsoft trades in the middle for earnings. So I mean, if you trade it, and unless you're doing something like an iron condor or something like that, it's going to clap both sides of you. It's going to clap both sides, and you're not going to make any money. The contracts will be on sale the next morning, and you can make a lot of money the day after earnings, because then it'll make a move. Because typically what happens is Microsoft is a stock that everybody wants. So if they miss earnings, people are going to investors are going to jump in and buy those shares on the dip. And so if it drops, they're going to buy it up. They do the same thing with Apple. So depending on the situation, if a stock is overbought, then a correction or a 10% correction on that stock is fine. So yeah. But yeah, so as far as Microsoft go, like I said, we don't trade it that often, but Microsoft it can be a nice play. When it breaks out, it goes and it runs with SPY. If they, most of the time when you see SPY selling off, the first stock to go, like a lot of times they selling off Microsoft. I don't know why they do that first. A lot of people, they just sell it. So if you looking for something to short, when the market is coming down, Microsoft comes down hard. So pay attention to that too. But yeah, over 446.65, looking for a move back up to 451.62. That would be my target for Microsoft. Now, if we were to lose 441.40, then we got a few levels that we can actually hit. But my first target would be after earnings. 437.66, and then 435, then 431.90. But yeah, Microsoft is it. Looks all right. Looks okay. It's good here. I like trading stocks like this heading into earnings because they you get a nice run up on them. But like I said, we got a crazy week, man. So we just gotta really be on point with the overall market and just pay attention to what's going on as a whole. Say. Got a bearish engulfing on CrowdStrike after rejecting that resistance. And this look at the you can see a nice channel on here. And I just like the bearish engulfing on this one. Second. See what the weekly look like. I didn't realize that CrowdStrike ran that much last week, but you can see the nice move up, nice reject. Now again, it could come down, but it's not necessarily something that we can bet on. So we just have to trade with the price, trade what the market gives us, right? That's what we do. So under 373.67, looking for a move back down um to 368.38. And so if we were to clear that 384.30, looking for a move back up to 389. So just keep CrowdStrike on watch, and this is a nice stock to trade. And I like when you get these ranges and you're at the top of the range. You see how it typically moves, but we got a breakout here. And last time we got a breakout, we came back up here, rejected, and but there's some more levels that the stock can actually hit. But when we get a tradable channel like this, and just wait for the confirmation though. Like wait for the confirmation. You get that continuation, that thing coming down. And yeah, so we'll see what happens. Actually, this one. 555. Same thing like QQQ, pretty much sitting right here at the support level, but it's at all-time highs, man. So you know how I feel about stocks at all-time high or ETFs at all-time high. So yeah, I really don't have a trade for SPY, to be honest. I don't. But you see the range here. I have the same range here, just to let you know. I'd rather trade QQQ than trade SPY. There's too many other stocks that's in SPY that's pulling it in different directions, where QQQ is like pretty much a straight trade. You got all the tech stocks and you got some financials in there. And you ain't got to worry about whether the consumer staples are pulling it one way while big tech is down, so it's just it's not as clean a trade, but it does print, but so does QQQ. But yeah, you see this range here, this channel. So although we're at all-time highs, this thing can go higher if big tech earnings come through, then we go higher. It was Netflix that pushed this higher, broke us out of this flag here, this wedge, and took us higher. So this thing can go higher. It can go higher, but it can also come down. So, but yeah, I don't have a trade on it though. I have a trade. Let me go through I gotta go through the data here. Hold on one second. We did not go through the data. Switch. So here we go. So here's our economic data. So we got the Fed decision this week. We got Powell speaking, obviously, so we don't have any Fed speakers or anything up until in that blackout period until after FOMC. So all we got is the FOMC and we got Powell. But look at all of the data that we got this week, man. But obviously, for pointing later in the week is more important. But we got Monday, we got new home sales, we got durable goods orders, we got consumer confidence on Tuesday. Obviously, we just talked about the rate decision Wednesday with big tech earnings. We got GDP, jobless claims, pending home sales on Thursday. We got PCE data, employment cost index, and Chicago PMI on Friday. So we got a stacked week. It's going to be volatility everywhere. We love volatility though. So we're just looking to see what the market does. And and we'll trade it accordingly. Now, as far as Meta, I haven't really said much about Meta because we hopped on Zoom. I hopped on Zoom like 3:30, something like 3:35 or something on Friday, sent an alert out for everybody to hop on Zoom, and we had a nice conversation about Meta, and some of us even got into some trades. So we had a really extensive conversation about Meta. So I don't really have much to say about it right now, but we'll talk more about Meta on I guess on Zoom and in the chat. But yeah, so that's all I have for now. And we got a long week. We got a big week. So everybody just stay locked in and if you see anything, no, actually I gotta hit one more stock. I gotta hit one more stock first. I got to. Hold on a second.
That's the one to watch, y'all.
Don't say stuff like that.
Nah, I'm just kidding. But every time you go back and be like, "Oh yeah, I
See, now
forgot
you're gonna
this one."
jinx my stock now. Now you're gonna
No,
jinx
I
my
knew you
play.
was gonna say that.
You're gonna jinx my play. You're gonna jinx my play now. So damn, I'm sharing the wrong screen. My bad. Hold on. Oracle, Oracle. So here we go. So Oracle right now, it's we had a really big move on Oracle. Shout out to everybody in the Oracle trade, everybody who took the trade and made a lot of money off Oracle last week. And but yeah, so here's Oracle. It's right here at support. It's right here at support here on the daily. It's holding. If it holds this gap fill, we run up. This is what I'm feeling. If we hold this gap fill, we're running back up. We're going to take out the all-time high because our target, obviously, we got a resistance right here at 190.57. Feel like if we break through that, we're gonna go back to the all-time high. Right now, it came back down here, but it's holding this gap. That's all we need to do is hold this gap. We hold this gap area and we take a move back up now. But like if we break down, I did post a chart earlier in the week with the key levels on it and stuff like that. But this is similar chart right here. We got a few areas here. I'm gonna say as long as we hold up over 180, we hold over 180, then we good for a move. We hold this area here. Good. I put these two levels here, but I really should have just put it like like what is it? Like a box or something, because it's like more of a range here than anything. But I feel like if we lose this area right here, then we taking a move back down to fill that gap. And that could be a big move down too. But so far so good. Look like it's holding up pretty well. And one sec, hold on one sec. I was trying to there was some data came out, some information came out over the weekend too about Oracle and TikTok that I saw. I didn't get a chance to look at it. I saw someone posted it in the chat earlier. Does anybody know anything about that? It's
No,
like
I didn't see it this morning.
There's something about a potential takeover from
mhm.
Apple taking over TikTok.
Yeah, so it says like Oracle and a group of investors that include Microsoft are in talks to take over TikTok's global operations. That would be amazing. The Trump administration is working on a deal for Oracle to take over TikTok. Oh, okay, all right. So now I see it. Okay, gotcha. If that's actually true, yeah. So yeah, and here go breaking. This says 3 hours ago. Breaking Oracle and a group of U.S. investors, including Microsoft, are in talk to take over TikTok's global operations from ByteDance. Okay, The deal would give Oracle control over TikTok's algorithm, data, and security, addressing U.S. national security concerns. Wow. If this actually happens, man, Oracle is going to run like a bat out of hell, man. So let's see how the stock performs overnight in the Asian futures. Now we got to also just pay attention to the shares too, because again, look, when outside of SPY and QQQ and just the actual U.S. equities, whenever you see those stocks moving in the overnight market, you can't really you have to take it with a grain of salt, because the number of shares below pushing the stock, you got to look at it like if it's a stock that typically trades like hundreds of thousands of shares a day, right? And it's only trading like 1,000 shares in the overnight market. So it only takes a few hundred shares to move the stock. You know what I'm saying? So then when the big dogs, when we open up, when our pre-market starts at 4 a.m., then then you see big dogs come back in and they take the stock to where it really supposed to go. So I'm just saying we can pay attention to sometimes with those what happens in the overnight market, but you got to look at the number of shares that are being traded too. And if it's a really low number, then typically it's not going to really doesn't really make a difference from when we open up the next morning, or when London opens at 3 a.m. and starts to mess with things. So, but yeah, so just keep that on watch. And now I'll be watching that too. But yeah, Oracle's at a nice place here, and so yeah, I like the stock. I mean, yeah. So let's see what happens with Oracle, and and we should be good. But yeah, I couldn't end this session without covering Oracle. Of course, I was going to cover Oracle because I have the team in Oracle calls. So had to cover what we were trading and go from there. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this upcoming week. Let's see how things goes. And again, like I said, a lot of volatility. So let's just we'll keep our heads on a swivel, and let's make this money like we do every week. See y'all later. Cheers.
Appreciate you, bro. Enjoy your day.
Are you too?